Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Conversations. Today, we're having a conversation with our city mayor, Mr. Randy Carroll. Randy, it's good to have you back with us, or should I say Mayor Carroll?
Well, and either way is fine with me, David. It's always a pleasure to be with you, and I feel so comfortable with your program and what you've done for the city of Shelbyville as far as getting information out to the people. Um, I would like to say today to the citizens of Shelbyville, uh, a big thank you for all that you've done for us, our city council members, and myself. We want to wish you a Merry Christmas, all of you. I know everybody doesn't have the same amount of money and those kind of things, but you can have the spirit and joy of Christmas in your heart. And we hope that all of you have a Merry Christmas.
Well, Merry Christmas to you from
Thank
everybody,
you. Thank
Mayor
you.
Carroll.
Thank you.
Tell us what else going on. Get us caught up from the last time you was here. I know there's been several things happen in the city, and I know you've got a long list to go over there. Just take it away and give us an update where we're at
All
on
right.
some things.
Thank you, David. I appreciate that. First of all, I want to thank the TDOT for doing the Madison Street. We just talked about that a little bit, but Madison Street really looks great, and it's safer, and it's a lot better for our folks traveling in the city. We're glad to have that project done. We do have a number of projects that we're working on in the city, and this is for the citizens of our city. Dairy Street Sidewalk Project. Uh, we just received a letter the other day from Representative Pat Marsh, Speaker Pro Tem, saying that we received a $550,000 grant. That's a community development block grant, and that's for sidewalks on Dairy Street, starting at Depot Street and coming down Dairy, and we'll put sidewalks, gutters, curbs, and all that as far as we can with that $550,000. Nearest Green Distillery, the 231 North Business Park had about 26 acres left in the business park, and Nearest Green wanted to use that for distillery. Right now, they're using other properties for distillery processing their product, and so now they're going to put that distillery there, and they're going to invest about $100 million and provide 100 jobs for people in Shelbyville. And I think the number we're talking about is $45,000 plus benefits for folks working there. So that'll be good jobs. That will end up the 231 North Business Park. We won't have any more property available in that North
Okay,
Business
so
Park.
how many businesses will actually be in the park?
We'll have Ducks On. It's got the largest amount, a little over 60 acres. We'll have TCAT. They have broken ground on TCAT.
Yeah,
out on 231 North, and so our new TCAT facility will be there, and then we'll have Nearest Green.
Okay, so we'll have the school, and then Ducks and electrolyte place, and then Nearest Green. Okay,
that's exactly right, and that'll take up for that money that the city of Shelbyville and Bedford County bought that property to make an industrial park. At this moment, I don't know of another industrial park piece of property that we have in the county or in the city. But we do have a lot of empty buildings in the city that we're trying to fill right now. And we had somebody contact us the other day about an empty building, and we're trying to see if we can get those things filled. They already have utilities, they already have roadways to them, and those kind of things. So it'd be a lot cheaper on a business if they're coming to town to do that. TAP 5, Riverwalk and River Overlook. That project was funded primarily through the Tennessee Department of Transportation, TDOT. And that grant was $1.5 million, and TDOT's paying 80% of that. Of course, on some of the grants the city doesn't have to put any portion to it. Some of them 10%. On this particular one, 20%. Now that'll be our River Overlook project and the River Walk that we're developing down. You'll be kind of overlooking Fisherman's Park and things like that. We've talked about that on this program before. We'd be glad to get that started. Probably looking at the design and environmental stage will take about 9 to 12 months, and then we'll get busy on the work itself.
So what, if you were to say a completion date, would you say 2026 maybe?
Probably 2025 or 2026, yes. It's according to how fast that they can get those things going. Okay. Yes, right. Multimodal access grant, Madison Street. That's sidewalks also. And that's from Madison Street. And I think they're going to try to go to maybe Whitthorne if they can go that far. But that's $1.1 million, and we did have to pay a 20% portion of that.
Okay,
too.
so what is that going to actually do for us?
That'll be new sidewalks, new gutters,
Okay.
all those kind of curbing and all those along Madison Street. That we're trying to do these sidewalks because more and more we're getting money health-wise. We want people to be able to walk to town, people to be able to walk to a restaurant and things like that. We want it to be safe, and we want it to be, you know, along the streetway. Some of the people tell me they've got little children that they won't put in carriages and things like that and walk along the sidewalks. And so we're trying to make sure those sidewalks are in good shape, and we feel like it's good for our people to get out and walk and do those kind of things. Bicycle trails, I think, are a good idea too, for people using those. Some of the countries that you see a lot of the bicycles, people do using bicycles. Good for our health. These are kind of to help on people's health. Any other questions on that?
No, keep on going.
All
You
right.
got a long list there.
That's all right. We don't have to cover everything today. The multimodal access grant, that was the one we just talked about. Downtown improvement grant. We did get facade money. It was a grant. About $7,500 is what it actually equaled out to on each business, each merchant, and around the square. Then they had to invest exactly that same amount or more. And if you've been on the square, they have painted the front of those buildings with this grant money. They have put awnings up. They've done re-lettering. The Capri Theater has just done the new lighting on the front of their facility. All of that was done through a grant through the South Central Tennessee Development District. And we appreciated that. And we're looking at any other grants we can do. I noticed at the Norton building, where Mr. Norton used to practice law, they painted it not too long ago. All of that's making the square, the downtown area, look a lot better. We've also got some businesses that are working up there. The Glass Tavern, and I can't ever think exactly the name of that.
Yeah, Shabney House.
Yeah, Miss Beasley and Jeb House and those. Have you seen the front of that building? It looks great. They've just put the windows in, and she had Christmas decorations in the windows. That looks great. And we're looking at the buildings on Riverview, the Bedco and Grindstone Cowboy are looking at this moment of trying to get busy on those. They've started a little bit of work on it, but they've called in their design people and trying to get that work. Surface Transportation Block Grant, Fairfield Pike. We're working there, and let me just kind of read if I can. The project will be widening of Fairfield Pike from the intersection of Main Street, Highway 231, to the Fairfield Drive, Deary Street intersection. Other improvements will be paving, signing, striping, as well as curb and gutter improvements. This project's currently in the right-of-way acquisition phase. We're having to get some of the properties on either side and things like that right there. The Riverview District, and we just touched on that right there. Let me get the exact name. That is the Glass Hollow Table and Tavern. That's Ms. Beasley's building up there, the old Knox Pitts building. We're looking at whether we need to, and I talked a little bit about it before the show, the street that we have there, that's North Spring Street, talking about closing that street and kind of making it like Printer's Alley in Nashville. Now, Printer's Alley, when I thought about it, when they first brought that up, I thought, well, I don't know if we want to look like that. But Printer's Alley has changed a little bit. It's a walkway, and people can go into those. They can dine outside and have sidewalk cafes and things like that. And it may be safer for our citizens and people who are going to those businesses. We'll have the steakhouse and tavern there, and then we'll have the music in both places. I think they're going to have music in that and the Grindstone Cowboy. So people can come up and it'd be safer without somebody going down that street. We're looking at it right now. We haven't made that final decision. North Britain Drainage Project. This thing's been dragging its feet for a while. This is as you go up North Main to come up to the square on the left-hand side where the old box factory was. They have been working on trying to get all of the infrastructure taken care of there. That infrastructure is, the drainage that we have there, the sewer, the water, all of those kind of things. trying to get it all in place because Nearest Green or Mr. and Ms. Weaver, this may not be under the Nearest Green umbrella, but Mr. and Ms. Weaver are wanting to build a classic hops, they call it. And that will be like a brewery for beer, and then they'll have such things as hamburgers and maybe those kind of meals in there. And so it'll be have a gift shop and those kind of things too there. So we'd like to see that and take away that's kind of an ugly spot right there. Of course, to the right of us there, you've seen that the county has started right now. We've got the juvenile detention center that used to be in the old Sharon Williams.
Right.
Sheriff's office used to be in there, but they've torn down the brick jail that used to be there since they had built the new Justice Center out on 231. And those buildings have come down pretty quick. What they're going to do right there, I've talked to the mayor a little bit about that, the county mayor, Mr. Graham. And I think that they're just going to do like parking lots and things right there right now. We talked about a green space or something, but I don't know what the future has, and I think they're unsure about it right now too. The flood pumps and flume project, we had talked about that multiple times. We finally got all of the engineering, any kind of bureaucracy, anytime you're working with the city or the county or the federal government or the state government, things move slow, and that tests me sometimes. I like for them to move fast, but we wanted to get the flood pumps because of safety and all kinds of other issues to protect our city from flooding and protect our firemen from going out there and getting those pumps started. We finally got those things ordered, and so and they're going to come in a little less than what we thought.
What's the time frame on seeing that project complete?
We're looking at 12 to 18 months to manufacture and then get them installed.
Yeah, I knew that they were going to have to special make those.
That's
The last time you were here, we were talking about that. So
that's exactly
that'll be good to see that finally completed.
I'd love to see that too. I'm ready to get that done. Retail and commercial development. Chick-fil-A, of course, we know is in operation right now, and we're really pleased with the traffic and how that's worked out. I don't think we've had any major problems at that point. Our police department helped for the first 3 or 4 days, and just came by there a while ago to make sure we didn't have anybody backed up on North Main Street there and things like that. We've got Firehouse Subs, is a brand new place. We've got Dose Brothers in that same little shopping center right across from the Walmart exit there on North Main. And then we've got new McDonald's. It'll be opening up pretty quick. I don't have a date, but we did a kind of little groundbreaking with the shovels and the hard hats the other day and all those kind of things. We're going to have a UPS store also on North Main Street there. And the new Dollar Tree is in the final construction phase on South Cannon Boulevard.
That's the old Save-A-Lot building.
That's right. That's
for people that might not know that's where the Dollar Tree is going.
That's right. And we've got a brand new, of course, Dollar General. And it's kind of a larger size Dollar General out there on Madison Street before you get to the intersection of 64 and 41A, and it's open now. I noticed last night when I went by there that it's open.
Those things go up fast.
But it is a little larger. Have you been by there to see it?
Oh, yeah, I've seen it.
And, of course, we've got a development. We've got some developments with townhouses and condos and things right across the street from there. So those people will have some place to shop, and people maybe in Wartrace and that area. I'd still love to have a large grocery store out that way if we could. Duxon Electra. They've been moving dirt for a long time and really been working on that. They would like to be in operation by the fall of 2024. We thought spring of 2024, but it looks like it may be the fall of 2024. And they're investing about $1.5 million, $105 million. Let me say it that way, $105 million. And they're expected to give 100 jobs too. And I think those jobs were like 57,000 plus benefits for those folks working at Duxon.
Have those been posted anywhere where just an average citizen could apply, or do you think? Is there any special talent that's required, any special degrees, or I know it's going to be some chemical handling and so forth. Do you know what is required?
That's exactly right. And I don't know all that's going to be required as far as, I don't know if they're going to do their own trucking, because they'll have to take the chemicals that they're making out there that goes into the EV batteries, electric vehicle batteries, and they'll have to take them to the Toyota plant, to the Ford plant, and to the Nissan plant and all those kind of things. Whether they'll hire their own truckers and have their own vehicles? I do not know, but of course there'll be tanker trucks, I'm sure, if it's chemicals and things. As far as posting of those jobs, I have not seen it anywhere. I know Chick-fil-A did that on Facebook and other places, but I have not seen that posted anywhere. Whether our colleges or TCAT, I think that they're going to have at our new TCAT, I think they're going to open up a new training on distilling for Nearest Green for that building there. Now, whether they're going to have something specialty for chemical, and I'm sure they have chemical engineering at Tennessee Tech and MTSU and other places like that. So hopefully those people can come back to Shelbyville and Bedford County and live and work there. But I have not seen anything posted on it.
Maybe there'll be a public
I'm hoping
posting soon where people can, if they are interested in having a job there, maybe there's a way that they can at least check it out.
Absolutely.
Application. Mayor, I've got just 2 or 3 questions that we've talked about here at Shelbyville now. We've had some articles written. We also had Waleed Abakri up on the show a couple of weeks ago talking about a potential water problem. And there's been some developments that's going to be up for approval real soon, some PUD developments out on Union Street, off of Union Street. And the conversation has been sort of like this: with the water issues that we could possibly be facing,
right?
How, if it doesn't go in our favor, how do we handle development like a PUD or any type of development as far as that goes? When you're talking about the number of homes and the number of, well, the population increase, that suddenly, if we don't have the water capacity.
If we don't have the water capacity, if we don't get, and Jason Reese, who is the general manager of Shelbyville Power, Water, and Sewer, has made a petition, and we sent letters out, the city council and myself sent individual letters out requesting that the amount of, they wanted to cut us back to about 6.5 million or 6.05 million gallons, and we've already used up to 7.94 million, I think, if I'm getting those numbers correctly. We're asking for 8.35 with the new developments that we have in place right now. That would include these developments that we're talking about off of Jennings Lane, 66 acres there, and we haven't completely passed all of that yet. And then we're talking about the swing property, which is right before you get to Johnston's. They're talking about 715 units, I believe was the last number I saw there. Of course, with those developments, if we do not get the approval of that water, then I can see where there's going to be a holdup on those kind of things. I mean, we've got to take care of the people that's there here now first, and that's what we want to do. Of course, we hope that they'll go ahead and approve it. Now, we need to move cautiously in the future on any kind of developments. Of course, we want industry and jobs and things like that, but we will make sure that our workforce is ready. But we've got to also have that infrastructure. If we don't have the water available, or if we don't have the sewer available, I mean, there's no need to bring those folks in. We've done a whole lot moving forward this year, and I want us to move forward in the future, but we're not going to move forward putting at risk anything where we would have to have a cutback in water or a cutback in power or any of those kind of things like that in Shelbyville.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that have the conversation. We talk about traffic flow.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that could be a bad problem in that area or any area that you don't adjust your main arteries for travel, and you throw a ton of people or a school or whatever it is, it's going to automatically draw traffic and have traffic coming from it. It's a problem. So you made a statement just a minute ago about move forward, progress.
Right.
Okay. Can you define to me what moving forward is in your mind for a city or a county?
Yeah. I think when I ran for office, I think I made it pretty clear to the citizens of Shelbyville that I wanted Shelbyville to be more attractive and for us to have jobs available for the young people who are graduating from college or high school will have a place to go to work in Shelbyville and stay home and not have to leave Shelbyville and travel to Nashville or some of these other places because they're gasoline prices and all kinds of different things. But as far as moving forward, it's not all in my mind moving forward that we have to expand with houses and or expand with industries and all that. I want what we've got. I want it to look better aesthetically. I want the Shelbyville to be a place where people come from other cities. They can come here to shop. They can come here to eat. One of my big things about moving forward is a shopping center. I was in Tullahoma the other night and came through there, and their shopping centers are full of cars right now at Christmas with people shopping. And I know our people do a lot of online shopping, but I would love to have shopping centers. And I know we've had a couple, Big Spring Shopping Center and things like that, but they've kind of went down here.
Right.
So moving forward to me would be having retail shops. And right now we've signed an agreement with Retail Strategies. We're trying to bring in people to take over those empty buildings that we have in town. We'd also like to have the shopping center. If we do get a new Kroger, that's kind of slowed down a little bit. But if we get a new Kroger, or if we get another grocery chain of some sort, I'd love to have shops in and around that. Whether, I don't know if an indoor mall will go nowadays. Most of the malls are outdoor entrances,
Right.
So you don't have to heat and cool all of that area inside there.
What kind of
my idea is not just building for building's sake.
Well, let's just talk about that outdoor mall. Let's take a look at that. I know Murfreesboro's got one.
Yes.
I don't know if Tullahoma's what you would call an outdoor mall anymore, but they do have more retail, it seems. What does it take demographic wise for the city of Shelbyville or Bedford County? What do we have to do? How much do we have to raise our demographics economically to attract something like that? Have you looked at any numbers?
Well, and you're looking at the amount of money that the citizens make. The average income is a big issue. Right. Because those folks, if they want to do business in Shelbyville, they want to make sure that somebody's going to buy their product if they open a store.
Right.
We've had some issues where we had Ruby Tuesdays. I thought that was a great restaurant. Why did it close?
They just couldn't make it.
They didn't have the workforce, and they weren't making enough money. So we don't want to recruit things that we know that we can't take care of. As far as dollars and cents, to give you an idea, I don't know I'm honestly, I don't know exactly what number. I think each one of them has a different number of what you would need. Is it $40,000 average income? Is it $50,000? I think each one of them has like a different number before they'll come. We had to, of course, give the developer some funds from our hotel motel tax for Chick-fil-A to come.
Let me ask you about that.
Yeah.
All right. You opened up this door, so I'm gonna walk through.
All right. Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
So we gave the developer that money.
Right.
Okay. Is the idea that we're going to make that back in sales tax? You think there's going to be that many people drive into town that's normally not eating here just to eat at Chick-fil-A to increase our sales tax intake, or is it just shifting around from one place to another? Is the sales tax going to be coming from McDonald's to Chick-fil-A, or from Popeyes, or from Kentucky Fried Chicken? Is it going to increase our sales tax? Is it going to lift the water to where it's going to take care of it? I don't think people are going to just drive to Shelbyville to eat at Chick-fil-A and increase our sales tax. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think the people in the county will. I think the people in the county that were going to Tullahoma or somewhere else to Chick-fil-A. And Chick-fil-A is just a brand in itself, and people like the Chick-fil-A brand. I didn't want, and I hope that none of the other vendors or merchants in our area felt bad about Shelbyville trying to get Chick-fil-A here. We weren't trying to take business away from any of the other restaurants or anything like that. What we had to do in the Chick-fil-A, and we had some people who were working with the economic development and those kind of things that are not working necessarily with the city of Shelbyville anymore, but when they were recruiting and doing those kind of things like that, they were making some promises of what we need and what we would have to do. And Chick-fil-A was looking maybe 5 years down the road to come into Shelbyville. Well, when you get a business, an industry, or a retail, some of them, they want tax breaks. They want you to not charge them property taxes for a number of years if we come and do business in your location. Well, it was kind of a buy down in Chick-fil-A's situation where they would have gotten a 5-year property tax break, and they've got about $4 million invested up there. So you can imagine what the property taxes will be on it. Now, this will be county and city, and we're hoping that the county is going to give us part of that $300,000 back. We've asked for it.
Well, we'll talk about that too.
We'll see how that works out.
You open that door.
Well, that's right.
Here we
We'll see how that works out. But what we did by giving them, and we have hotel motel tax that the county does not get. They get it from their bed and breakfast and things like that, but we get it from the hotel motel. When anything comes to town, whether it's a celebration or any other thing, events that we have here in Shelbyville, when they come, then there's a certain amount of taxes off of RV parking, hotel motel rooms that are that occupied, all those kind of things. Well, we have that fund, and that fund has got to be used for economic development and tourism. So we took the money from there, and Chick-fil-A was willing to work with us, as the economic development person had worked with them, was willing to work with us to drop that 1 to 1 year of no property taxes if we could give that developer $300,000, and they would put off waiting 5 years to come to Shelbyville. They come on now. Now, there's a lot of reasons, not just sales tax. The property tax, we're going to get that after the second year. We're going to get sales taxes immediately. We're getting those. We're going to get them this year. But also, sometimes when other retail outlets are looking to move to a city, do they have a Chick-fil-A?
Right.
Do they have a Kentucky Fried Chicken? Do they have a Popeyes? Do they have a McDonald's? Well, they've got 2 McDonald's in Shelbyville.
Yeah.
Maybe those folks are doing business, and maybe I want to move my business there. That's another thought when you're trying to do government. Can we bring other people here? And clothing stores, we need clothing stores.
I was just having this conversation with a man that's sitting in the room with us right now earlier. And I can remember as a child how our population has tripled since I was 7, 8, 9 years old. But yet we don't have a Kastner's, we don't have a Park Belt, we don't have a Sullivan's, we don't have Tip Thompson's menswear. We don't have all these places that were available with 1/3 the less people, okay, than we do now. We can't even buy a pair of shoes in town. I mean, we got Shoe Show, and that's basically it, or Walmart, or but you can't buy a good quality. There's not a good quality clothing store for men and so forth. So I'm puzzled. We've got all these more people, but less retail establishments than we did then.
Yeah, to be honest with you, and of course, I saw this with my former employment in Duck River Electric. We covered 15 counties. And when you have a Walmart to move into your area, that takes business away from the little mom and pop.
Yeah.
And Tip Thompson's was a mom and pop.
Yeah.
Western Auto was a mom and pop. That's where we got all our Christmas toys when I was a little kid. The other clothing stores is Ferris Shoe Store on the square, all of those different things.
McKee's.
My dad bought all of his suits there from McKee's and things. But all of those things, when Walmart came, it put a strain on them.
And you know what? Walmart got a tax break for 10 years.
Yeah.
And even when they moved from one side of town to the other, they got another tax break for 10 years. So it seems like when the tax break's gone, they'll just up and move and leave an empty building. And that's a case you see across America.
That I know. And online shopping has affected some of it too. Brick and mortar. Yeah. Brick and mortar. Some businesses right now are just moving. They're completely doing away with brick and mortar. In other words, you can just go online and buy their product. I know Bed Bath & Beyond. I used to like to shop there.
Oh, yeah.
And some folks that I know did too. Well, they just have done away with brick and mortar, but they're back online now.
Yeah.
So you can order from them that way. So we're having some of that. But if we could get some of I know Dillard's used to be at Tullahoma.
Right.
And they went out of business Tullahoma, and they're in Murfreesboro. So it's happening in other cities, not just Shelbyville.
Oh, it's everywhere.
That we're losing those mom and pop operations. But a men's clothing store, ladies' clothing stores, shoe stores, all of those kind of things. I'm pushing Shelbyville. Yeah. That's why we went with retail strategies, and it's only costing us about $25,000 to hire those people to come in here and say, "Hey, Shelbyville's got buildings open."
Okay, that opens another door to talk about. I know that the council has talked about hiring a recruiter / assistant or deputy city manager / whatever it is, a multi-job position, okay, for one salary. And I know that was talked about, but now it's been postponed to like February. How do you see that developing over the next year for the city?
Well, what we're trying, and my feelings are, and then the council, and that's why we have six city council people, and um, each one of them are trying to represent the people that they have been are representing right now in their different wards. There's 6 wards in the city, and we have William Christie, we have Marilyn Ewing, Gary Hale, Henry Fieldhouse, Bobby Turnbow, and Stephanie Isaacs as our council members, and all of them are good people, and they're trying to do what they can to help the city. We're all kind of mixed on, do we need to hire another person that somebody has to oversee? You've got benefits, you've got all those kind of things. We've got an IT director, and is that working out for us? Well, we're still working on that to see if that's gonna be exactly a permanent situation. But when you hire a person, it's difficult, and I don't want to look at someone and say that we've hired and then say, well, you're going to lose your job,
Right.
because you're not doing, or we're not getting the business or something like that. So that's one of the things that's kind of held us back. My thoughts is to do the same thing we're doing in retail strategy, is to get a group that's already doing in industrial and those kind of things. And right now, do we have a workforce that's going to fill up Duxon, Near Screen, all these other things, Chick-fil-A and everything else? Do we have a workforce to bring more industry in at this moment?
I can tell you the answer to that.
Do we?
It's no.
That's right.
We
That's
do
right.
not. And that's the reason we have our school being built.
Yeah.
Our technical school, TCAT.
Right.
That's going to be a plus once it gets open for Bedford County and the city of Shelbyville.
Sure.
But in the meantime, it's going to be tough to grow economically when we don't have that workforce. Because I know when Duxon came and the sales pitch was being put out by the partnership, the presentation was, well, we are here because within 45 miles there's a workforce.
Right.
And it sounded like we're going to have to import people into work.
Right.
And I think that's probably what will happen. But the reason I asked about the job being posted, there are some people here driving to go out of town that might want to stay and apply for this. So,
and that's what we're hoping, David, that in the process of having Duxon and Near Screen and those kind of things like that, if we can take people off of the road that are having to travel away from their families, taken away from family time and things like that, and to work in Shelbyville. And these children that are graduating from high school, if they go to TCAT or if they go to MTSU or Motlow or wherever they go to school, that they can say, hey, I've got a job waiting on me back home. And that's what I want to do as mayor. I want to make sure that educational opportunity is available to them, and then they can make that decision. This is home. I know Shelbyville.
Yeah.
And they want to stay here like I've wanted to stay here, like you wanted to stay here. And as far as hiring assistant manager, we want to make sure that our city manager is doing the job he's supposed to do. He's only been on job 15 months.
Yeah.
And so we've kind of working through everything. And I've just gone across my first year anniversary. Yeah. December the 8th, I was 1 year in office. Thank you, Shelbyville. I appreciate the opportunity. Well, they have worked me to death.
Well, you've hit the ground running, and I appreciate you sitting down during this time period and kind of keeping us up to date with what's going on.
Right.
And I know that position that we were talking about there sounds like it's going to be a Swiss Army knife if you hire somebody.
That's right.
You need somebody that's very versatile that can do a lot of jobs. Something that I do want to ask you about is the ordinance concerning animals.
Yes.
We did just recently, the council recently passed it.
Uh-huh.
And there was some debate about the animal ordinance, about the chaining of dogs that got amended.
Right.
And then we're saying no to roosters now inside the city limits of Shelbyville.
Right.
Kind of go over that with us and maybe give us an update on when that takes effect and how the final ordinance, what does it look like exactly?
Well, and to be honest with you, I don't know what the dog part of the ordinance is going to look like at the very end. We had a large discussion, a long time discussion, as Josh knows. He was there. You're one of the folks that helps report here on, and I appreciate what Shelbyville Now does. You're getting the information out to the people. But on this ordinance, the first complaints we were getting was on roosters.
Right.
Roosters crow not only in the morning. We're being told they crow all day long if they want to.
All day long. Okay.
And these people, some of them work at night, and some of them Some of them are trying to sleep at night, and the roosters are crowing. And what makes them crow, I have no idea. But we could get Mr. Teague in here for that. Or
All
something.
right. Well, we won't. We won't. We just know they do crow, and
Yeah.
some people don't like it.
So
right.
we thought 30, maybe a little bit more roosters in the city, and we just saw no need. I mean, if people. So we just decided that it would be best, because of the folks that are living next to them and those kind of things like that, that we needed to probably look at our animal ordinance and see if it needed to be updating. So one of the things that we kind of decided on was no roosters in the city limits. All right. We want to be humane to all kinds of animals. And so there are some chickens and turkeys I've seen running loose. They're in a fenced area, but they fly over it and those kind of things. And I know certain parts of the city, I have seen them where they're right in the ditch, right next to the road, and those kind of things like that. So from a humane standpoint, we're not going to say you can't have chickens and turkeys and those things, but you've got to have an adequate living area for them, and a coop, we call it, coop, whatever, however you want to pronounce it. But you've got a certain space for each individual bird, and you're not having them running around. And we had people that came in and told us that they had some next door to them, and they would fly over the fence, and they would mess up their flowers and leave their messes on the sidewalks and all those kind of things like that. So we wanted to get that as part of the ordinance too, to get those. The poultry can be there, but they've got to be an enclosed, and it's got to be a covered area so that the weather's not bothering them and things like that. Then we came to the dogs.
Okay.
And I love a dog. All of us do. Good old dog, you can't hardly beat having one. And I know we've got one or two council people that do not want to have them on a chain or tethered or those kind of things, whether it's a rope or a chain or whatever. Right. And people can be mean. They can put the collar too tight. They can put it on too short a chain. The dog is wanting to get loose and can't be on a runner where you have a chain that's on like a wire or cable or something where they can run back and forth. But that protects the citizens too. I mean, if that animal's tethered, if it's got any kind of a ability that want to attack somebody, at least it's going to stay in your yard. And as we had someone stand up the other night, people can't afford to put a fence around their property for this dog. I think $700 was mentioned the other day for one piece of property that they had and things like that. But it was argued back and forth, and I think in the ordinance, and I really don't know what the end ordinance is going to look like. Lisa Smith our city recorder took all of the minutes, and we'll look at that the next time we have a meeting. But in the ordinance, it had that if you did tether the dog or put him on a chain or a run cable or whatever outside, that you had to be out there with them. Well, that was argued back and forth, and it was said, no, you don't have to be. So they took that out, that part of it, that you don't have to be out there with them. But it looked like to me, as they ended up the argument, they were saying, okay, it's all right to tether them. You just don't have to be out there with them.
Well, I think there's already inhumane treatment laws in place that our animal control
can take care of.
Actually, if a dog's being abused, I think that pretty much covers the concern about the dog being abused. So maybe they get that worked out, but it's good. Now I have one question. What about bears? Did y'all cover that? Them Craig boys seem to be they got bears. What are they doing out there?
Well, I had relatives in Alabama, my brother's family, and they had contacted me about the bear problem.
Did they? Shelbyville. Okay, they won't come up and check the bear out? Well, all right. Well,
I didn't know if they was talking about a human that we call bear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was actually a shout out to the Craigs. Okay. They made national headlines with the bear.
Oh, they did, and it like I said, it went down into Alabama and other places around the country. I'm sure Shelbyville had a bear problem. I don't know. Have you seen a bear here in Shelbyville?
I saw pictures. but I hadn't seen it in person.
Well, the
I
only
wasn't
one
there.
I'd ever seen before was at a carnival, when they used to have a carnival when I was a little kid, and some of our guys would wrestle the bear.
The Smoky Mountains. Now, I've been to Smoky Mountains and just seen them up there around Pigeon
Oh,
Forge.
I have too. I
and
have seen them when I was
up
hiking in the Smoky.
But I mean, it's obvious that they are around.
Oh yeah.
And
as we develop more property, we're taking the animal habitat away from them.
Right.
And so that's their natural habitat. And so as you build more houses and tear down, areas that they habit, that where they live and things like that, we've got a red fox in our neighborhood.
Yeah, you displace them, they have to migrate to some other
place.
Have to.
Yeah. So we have to take that in consideration too.
All right.
We didn't answer a while ago, and I don't know if we need to talk about it, but the street situation, Union Station we were talking about, and if we have those developments out there off the 41A, and Jennings Lane and those places like that, the traffic's going to be even more impossible to get out onto 41A. So I have asked if we can, from a government standpoint, if we can reach out to TDOT and said, can you put us on the radar for maybe 4-lane and do a traffic study where all the way out past Union Station. If we're going to do these developments and things, we talked about water a while ago and all that, but let's see about a 4-lane highway or.
Yeah, it's bad already.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine throwing 2,500 more or 3,000 more people in that same area? Yeah. It'd be tough. And going even the back way. I know a lot of people cut through Jennings Lane and then come out over on 231 by O'Reilly's there. So, and that creates more traffic there too, but it doesn't pull away from 41A. You still have a bad situation.
And we had 437 was supposed to be, there was supposed to be another loop off of 437 that would go from 231 so that it would go over to the Unionville Highway. Well, the state funding on that, I have not heard anything since I've been in office about them buying right away or trying to develop it.
The last I heard, they could not get a clear path. That's the last I heard.
And see, that would take away all of that traffic down Jennings Lane, Shaw Road, and all that area down through there. Yeah.
All right. Well, Mayor, thank you for sitting down with us today. I know there's a lot of people that's been informed just by listening to you. And we, of course, the microphone's always yours.
Thank you.
And Merry Christmas again to you and your family.
Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Look forward to sitting down with you the first part of the year to see how things progress. And anytime you want to come back and sit down, I know the people of Shelbyville and of Bedford County want to hear from you.
That sounds great, David. I'll be glad to come.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back again real soon with another conversation with a very important person. Thanks for watching. For David Thomas and Mr. Randy Carroll, have a good day.
Thank you.